Why is it so easy to repeat bad habits and so hard to form good ones? Has this ever happened to you when you try to change a behavior? Let's say you just watched a documentary on processed food and you tell yourself that you'll start eating healthy from now on because junk food is bad for you. And you stick to this habit for a few days, but then you grab a bag of chips at the grocery store because damn, those chips look so good. And you're back to square one. Why don't habits stick? What is happening in our brains when we know what's good for us and yet we choose the old habits? If we understand how our brain works, we can reprogram it to make good habits part of our life. And this is what today's video is all about. Changing a habit is challenging for two reasons. We either try to change the wrong thing or we change the habits in the wrong way. You might say here something like, change the wrong thing? I know what I want to change. I want to eat healthier, so I'm changing my diet. How is that changing the wrong thing? Well, here's how. We usually begin building a new habit focusing on what we want to achieve, which is the outcome, such as I want to lose some weight, I want to quit smoking, I want to earn more money, and so on. And then we figure out the how or the process. Our typical approach to changing a habit looks like this. I want to wake up earlier, which is the outcome, so I will set my alarm at 6 a.m., which is the process. I want to lose weight, so I will not eat junk food. There are three layers of behavior change. Outcomes, the what, which is concerned with changing our results. Processes, or the how, which is concerned with changing our habits and systems. And identity, or the who, which is concerned with changing our beliefs. Most people start with the outcome and work towards the identity. They think, I want to publish a book, so I will work on my writing skills, and once I have my book published, I will be a writer. All these levels are very useful and important, but the author of Atomic Habits, James Clear, argues that the direction is wrong. He suggests that instead of starting with the outcome, we start with identity. That way, we form identity-based habits by focusing on who we wish to become. Let me illustrate this. Imagine two people who want to quit smoking, and both of them are being offered a cigarette. The first person says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. And the second person says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. Who do you think will be more successful? If you said the second person, you would be right, and here's why. When the first person says, I'm trying to quit, it sounds like a struggle. It sounds as if that person is doing something completely foreign to him or her. The second response, however, I'm not a smoker, subconsciously signals a shift in identity. It goes something like, why would I, a non-smoker, even want a cigarette? So it's easier to achieve results faster if you identify as a person who embodies this result. Behavior that is not aligned with the identity will not last. You can't save money when you are a spender because saving money is not a part of your identity. You can't be fit if you prioritize watching TV over working out because that's not who you are. The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce that identity. So whatever identity you have right now for yourself, you believe it because you have proof of it. If you believe you're a spender, that's because you typically spend more money than you should. If you believe you're an athlete, that's because you go to the gym regularly and you provide proof for that identity. So that's why instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. The goal is not to publish a book. The goal is to become a writer. The goal is not to stop smoking. The goal is to become a non-smoker. The goal is not to wake up earlier. The goal is to become a morning person who rises early. We're under the illusion that habits stick because we're motivated. The reality is that habits stick because of our identity. Once we believe in a particular aspect of our identity, we're more likely to act in accordance with that belief. So if you want to save money, you have to become a person who saves money. Ask yourself, what does a person who's a saver look like? What principles and values and lifestyles does this person have? Who is that person who can do what I want to have? This is how people form new identities, and these new identities require new evidence. So in a way, you have to unlearn everything you have until now to acquire this new evidence. A saver saves, a writer writes, a runner runs. Every time you do something, you are casting a vote for that new identity. So consciously cast a vote for the new identity with small, tiny actions. Let's say you want to become a person who runs. Every time you choose to run, even if it's only for a few minutes, you are casting a vote for this new identity. The more times you repeat this action, the more you believe to be a runner. And this belief is not random. It's rooted in the evidence you provide every single time you run. So let's talk about our brain. What is happening in our brain when we form habits? If we understand this process, it will be easier to form new habits consciously. There are 4 simple steps that form a habit: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers the brain to initiate a behavior. Our mind is continuously analyzing and searching the environment where we can find a reward. At the first indication that we're close to getting a reward, we crave that thing that will lead to the reward. But actually, we don't crave the habit itself, we crave the results it brings. People don't crave turning the TV on, they crave entertainment. People don't crave a cigarette, they crave the relief it brings. The third step is response. It's the actual habit we perform which leads to the reward. And the reward, of course, is the goal of every habit. And this is the habit loop. These 4 steps lead to what James Clear calls the 4 laws of behavior change. And here they are. The first law is making it obvious. Since our minds are constantly searching and analyzing the environment for cues to get a reward, design your environment in a way that's aligned with what you want to achieve. If you want to become a reader, it's easy not to read when the bookshelf is in the corner in the living room. So create an environment where you can see the book and design the environment appropriately. The second law is make the habit attractive. We're more likely to find a behavior attractive if we get to do one of our favorite things at the same time. I'll talk about my case here, my example. So in my case, I developed the habit of running. I'm a runner. I run regularly. I run almost every single day. So to make it attractive, at the beginning, I looked at it that way. This is my me time. This is the only time where I can listen to music, play whatever song I want, turn the volume all the way up, feel the rhythm, and be energized by the process. When I get tired of the same music, I listen to interesting podcasts or sometimes stand-up comedies. But I'm enjoying this process. I'm doing something fun for myself. Running is almost a secondary action. So for me personally, running is a pleasure and I look forward to it every day. The third law is make it easy. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in really handy. Downscale each habit to only 2 minutes. If you want to run, you can downsize the habit to only putting on the shoes and leaving the house. Because once you're outside with the right type of shoes on, you're more likely going to run. So don't think of it as a hard thing to do. It's only putting on the shoes and going outside. Rather than trying to overcome friction, you want to reduce it significantly. Instead of saying, I will read each night before bed, say, I will read 1 page. Instead of saying, I will fold laundry, say, I will fold 1 pair of socks. Because chances are, more often than not, once you start reading, you will be captivated by that and you will read more than 1 page. Once you start folding, you will gain that momentum and you will fold more than 1 pair of socks. So the 2-minute rule helps us gain this momentum, and it's all about starting the action. And the last and the fourth law is make it satisfying. Give yourself an immediate reward when you complete a habit. For me, it's something like, I will check my social media after I finish this report. To get what I want, I first need to accomplish what I have to do. Or another way to make a habit satisfying is to keep track of the habit daily by marking it on a calendar. When we perform the habit for a couple of days without breaking the chain, we get a sense of pride and we're more likely to continue this behavior. So, in order to form a new habit, we need to make these 4 laws very attractive and very easy. And of course, the opposite is true when we want to break a bad habit. We want to reduce exposure. We want to remove the cue from our environment. We want to make it look unattractive and make it look difficult by increasing the number of steps between us and the bad habit. And we want to make it unsatisfying, where we make the cost of our bad habit painful. The book covers all these topics in far greater detail on how to form good habits and how to break bad ones. As I was reading it, I wanted to highlight almost every sentence in this book. It's that good. It really is a fantastic book. There are so many aha moments. It's so easy and it's so practical, and it guides people to make a change. And my favorite thing is that it changes the way we look at habit making. Most people start with the outcome as opposed to starting with changing their identity. Most people think we need motivation to start doing something, when in reality, it's actually the opposite. Motivation kicks in after we start doing the work. I actually have a video about starting the work. If you're interested in this topic, you can check it here. The main takeaway of this video today is become the person you want to be and let your goals take care of themselves. And also, understanding how our brain works, it just makes it so much easier to understand the process and to consciously go towards making our habits stick. So let me know what you guys think about this video. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? I personally enjoy making these videos, and I love bringing as much value as I can. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Subscribe to this channel for more great content, and I'll see you again next week.